Okay, today we're going to start learning how to use ArchiCAD. What I want you to do, we'll just start from the very beginning. Find ArchiCAD on your screen here. Go ahead and double click it. It'll take a little bit of time to load up. Once it gets loaded up to a certain point and this comes up for the ArchiCAD educational version, just click in there. It speeds up the process. Okay, and then once it goes through, then it's going to come up with this right here on starting ArchiCAD. You can create a new project, which is what we're going to do for right now. Open a project that you've had before. We're going to do a new project, and we're going to use the template. There's a couple of them, commercial and residential. Can't remember if I put the Concord template in there for years, but we'll just start with the residential template. And then as far as the setup work environment, just keep it the standard profile. That, or it's usually the last profile used, because we never really change that. So just keep it there, and then just go ahead and go to new. And then you're going to have this screen right here. Okay, so let's just go over this. Basically what you have right here is your screen where you're going to be drawing your information, your walls, windows, everything, whatever you're working on. As we work our way around here, up here at the top, it's setting normal Windows setup. You got file, you get save, different things like this, edit, design. But a lot of these are going to be icons that are going to be down in these areas here. Okay, so, and we'll get into these later, but this is just kind of showing you how this is set up. Up there at the top, you've got some different icons up here that do different things. There's certain ones that we like to have on. Guidelines, see if you press that, see how it becomes blue. That's one that we always want on. This one here, snap guides, we always want that on, so we'll make it blue. The tracker we'll learn about, we want that one on, and we usually want this one on. It's called trace. We'll get into that later. Element snap, that should be on also, and then spend group should be on. As you can see, it starts out here. These are what we call design tools. We've got like a wall tool here. If you just kind of put your cursor over it, it'll show you what it is. Door tool, column tool, slab tool, etc., etc., roof tool. And these are designs. When we're drawing in ArchiCAD, you're actually putting in three-dimensional objects. Okay, so when you draw a wall, it looks two-dimensional on here, but it's actually extruded to a certain length, depending upon what you have set up here. Okay, this stuff under document, you can expand these, make them big, whatever. We've got different ones here. This is a little bit different. This is more documentation, like putting in text, using fill tool, drawing some lines, creating a section or an elevation. We'll get to those later as we start doing things. Dimensioning. So it's things that you're going to not actually build, because that's what the design one is. This one's just to maybe highlight, explain, things like that. So that's kind of in a nutshell. Up here at the top, it starts out with the first floor. Whenever you come in, and we'll talk about this over here in the navigator. But you've got perspective views, an elevation, and usually a floor plan, which is the layout. But we'll talk about that later. So we'll just go back to this default plan view. All right. Over here on the right here is what we call the navigator tool. Okay, this is where you can navigate to different plans, different views, and things like this. Right now the file is untitled. It'll end up, once we save it, it'll end up putting that name. These are stories, like first floor, second floor, section views, which we'll get into later, and elevation views, interior elevations, and there's a bunch of other ones, schedules and things. Okay. This navigator, you can always, if you want to hide this, you can always hide it if you want. Um, usually you just want to keep it there because the screen here that we have is big enough, but um, sometimes it can be disappeared. So if you just, if we, hide navigator, then we come back here and show that again. Um, so it shows it. So if you, happen to lose it or something, uh, that's where it is. Up here, we've got project map, which is where pretty much we'll stay with what we're going to do. Drawing things. This is a view map. We're not going to get into this too much, but you can create different views of what you want. And the layout, this one is actually what you're going to print out. It's kind of like you do your design, and then over here, you can create different layouts that you can print. Okay, so that's kind of a, and then this one here is a publisher set. You can create PDF files, which we'll never get into for the most part. um, then as you come down here, it just tells you this is properties. This, depending upon what you choose, like if I choose this thing out here, the properties may change. Um, and then down here towards the bottom here, you've got renovation filter here. You've got this one is graphic overrides, construction documents, different things that we won't use a lot. The only thing I do want you to change on this one is go to the renovation filter and just put this at show all. Okay, so try to remember that when we go through here. It'll probably tell you at some point in time, like if you try to put stairs in or something like that, that'll say you need to change the renovation filter to show it because it's not showing up. So if you just get in the habit of just do this, it saves some time. There's some more information. These are different layer combinations, which we'll get into later. This is scale. We've talked about scale, and just how it's being presented here, or what you want to send it to the layout. This right here is the zoom. Uh, the nice thing, if you take your wheel mouse, the wheel on your mouse, move it up or down, you'll zoom in and out. And then notice down here, the zoom will change. It'll tell you what zoom you're at. Then if you want to get it back to where you can see everything, you can just click this fit in window, and that will fit the window. So here's you zooming out. Now if you press and hold down your mouse wheel, press and hold it down, that's dragging. You can drag across, so you can try that. Okay, so that's the dragging part. All right. And then so you can manipulate, zoom in and out with the wheel, pan across. Okay, you get the idea for that. It's a lot of times it's a Windows-based type thing. The right mouse button will pop up different things. If you do that, we'll use this stuff later. Left mouse is the one that you use to input stuff, to draw lines and things like this, put walls in and stuff. Okay. So again, these are the things that you want on. Okay. Let's say, for example, if you do lose some of these items here, like the navigator, this main menu here, you go up here to Window and under Palettes. These are the ones, the toolbox, info box, status bar, navigator. Like if we accidentally lose it, let's just, okay, I can't find it. You could also come into here and go to show navigator. That would be another way, but another way would be to come back up here, and I'm just going to get rid of it. You can just come back up here and turn it back on. So that's under window palettes. Okay, the different things, these are called palettes that we have. You've got the info bar, the toolbox, which is over here. So if you happen to lose your toolbox there, then you come back to palettes and turn that back on, put that in there. Okay, so that's important because sometimes those will just disappear, and you just have to go into here. And there's other ones we're not going to get into that you can put up. Like here's the renovation filter, and you can move these around. You can dock them if you want, if you so choose, whatever you want. Close out of them, There's different types of palettes. We're just getting into the basics of it, but there's a lot to this software. Now let's just take a look at what we see here. Okay, if we click one of these markers, these are what we call elevation markers, and if you just click it and then put your cursor over it, it'll kind of give you some information about it. It'll tell you what marker it is, the ID number, and the name of it. Like this is the north elevation. If we think about north, south, east, and west, this is the north, so this would be the north elevation. Click this. This is the east. Click this one. This is the south, and of course this would be the west. Okay. These elevations, whenever you draw a wall, it's always going to, or draw anything, it's going to have an elevation view of that. What you need to know is don't move these, okay, and try to draw everything inside of this. If I go around and press all these and select them, I'm just pressing hold down shift. They kind of create a box. You want everything that you draw inside this box. Now, can we move these? Yeah, we can move these if we want. We can drag these, move them wherever we want. Obviously do it one at a time. But anyway, so just remember, just don't delete those, okay? Um, and that's just what those are used for. Now, these three things here, we really don't need. They have to do with sections, okay? Section views. If we look over here, these three right here, that's what these are, okay? We're actually going to start out by just deleting those. So just select it and hit the delete key, and it'll give you this. Do you want to delete it? Yes. Delete the viewport. Do you want to? Sure, you want to do it because we're going to get rid of them. It's not undoable. So you just say yes, and we're just going to delete these. Okay. Just go ahead and do that, and then you notice how they're disappearing over here in the navigator. So delete those. We don't need them. We'll end up putting those in at some point in time. And now you can see that it doesn't show any sections at all. Okay, but that's the section tool there. We can create those whenever we want. Okay, so that's kind of setting it up. As far as the video, where you find stuff, you've got your different tools here. You've got to make sure that these guidelines, these things are turned on. Make sure that this one here, show all under the renovation filter, because sometimes what it'll do is it won't show things. Here's your navigator. This is how we'll get between the different areas and stuff as we start learning this. Okay, and that's it for the setup.